Hello there, it's Billy Juliana here, and welcome back to another video, or if you're new to the channel, then welcome for the first time. And I'm not going to give a bio or what I'm about synopsis right here, because I've done that in a few other videos, and you can go back and look at the identity crisis video or the very first video I uploaded and see a bit more about me. That didn't come out real smoothly, but nothing does. You'll find that out about me. But whatever the case may be, I hope that the shadow and the light is not too distracting at this point. I like filming outside because the dimness of the interior sometimes can be distracting in and of itself, so outside always feels a little bit more lively. That said, though, there's always a problem with reflection in my glasses, so I'm going to take them off and try to make do without them. So this video is actually a second part in a series that I'm doing on fear. And the reason why I am doing a series on fear is because, to me, fear and all of its subsets, that's anxiety, agitation, apprehension, overexcitement, all of those things are the main thing that I detect that I feel. That's the main emotion that I detect that I feel at any given moment on any given day. It's almost like fear is attached to my bloodstream somehow and just running through it. And I realize that fear is a natural human emotion. And you probably all heard that we have fear for reasons, and for very, very good reasons, for our survival. And it makes sense, of course. But I think that for me personally, having gotten thrown into anorexia at a young age, which increased my fear because I was suddenly very fearful of food and weight and all the things that went with that, then all these other things became increasingly more fearful as I went on. So this video is going to be not so much about the weight gain fear, although that is probably the greatest, most noticeable fear that I face every minute of every day, but also a little bit of the other things that I face in life that I'm just truly scared of. It's basically everything else. So right now I'm going to insert a clip that I filmed a couple of days ago to show you one type of fear that I really am struggling with, but I'm trying to do better with it as I go through recovery, and then I'll see you in a minute. I wanted to film a little snippet, just a little something today, because right now, the day that I'm filming this clip, it's September 1st, and let me remove my glasses for just in case there's a glare. Okay, so now maybe you can see better. I can't, but that's no problem. We'll just work with it. But anyway, today is September 1st, and that's a very, very special day for me because my best friend in the world was born today. She was born September 1st. I won't say the year, but she's around my age group. And we're old. We go back to before high school to middle school together. And so today was her birthday, and gosh, I haven't seen her in more than 2 years. And I haven't really sat down and talked to her one-on-one in, gosh, more than 5 years probably. And this is all because of my own issues and basically the eating disorder and anorexia and the restricted way that I live. The restriction caused such minimalization of everything that I grew a great fear of socializing. I just didn't know what to say to people when I got with them after it had been some time. I was afraid that there would be questions about what I'd been doing, and I hadn't really been doing anything but sitting around thinking of food or doing a compulsive OCD type activity, and that wasn't fun to talk about. And but it was less of an ego thing and more of just a fear of breaking out of my routine and going and sitting down with someone and catching up. And so I have the great pleasure to say today, I know that you may not share this, but I did want to say that for myself, I have the great pleasure of having just sat down for 3 hours, more than 3 hours, with my friend on her birthday, and just shoot the breeze. I mean, we were really shooting the breeze. We were outside and it was a little breezy, and there was a cloud that came by and threatened rain. We stood the course and we stayed out there talking. So I just wanted to say that this is a part of recovery, is just breaking out of the fears. And I have to say that right before we got together, because it was kind of a last minute thing, I was so scared. I was really scared. I mean, I was sick to my stomach scared, because I was so nervous, because the restrictions have just kept me from the life that is out there. And this is a wonderful person. I mean, we don't have any bad blood or any kind of history that's dodgy. We love each other. And so I just want to say that I hope to see much, much more of her in the coming days and in the coming weeks and years. We've got a little bit of catching up to do. So I just wanted to film this clip in her honor, on her special day, and just say happy birthday to my friend. Okay, hello there. I'm back again. I'm going to move up a little bit just so that you can maybe see me a little bit better. The shadows may be too much, but I'll try to tinker a bit, and then I'm going to take my glasses off. But I hope that you, from the clip that I just showed, that you got a little bit of an inkling. You probably got a big smack in the face of my own personal social anxiety disorder. The basic bottom line is the energy deficit state in which I'm still living causes the fear to be greater. And then of course, if the energy deficit has gone on for years and years and years, that causes these spikes in fears and anxieties, just general anxiety about things working and about things, plans coming together. And even if it's a pleasurable thing like seeing a friend or going to a movie, there's a lot of fear that surrounds that. And I get to the point where the fear seems so great that I cut out those things. So it becomes a very restrictive life. So with that said, I'm gonna turn off here and maybe hit another location should I think of some more things. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. Hey there, it's me again, I'm back. And I wanted to move away from the park and get into an environment that was maybe a little less shadowy, although it's getting kind of dark, so I hope you can see me a little better, and maybe the audio is a little bit clearer here too. Let's hope for the best. But I could tell from the earlier footage that I was really in shadow, and it was a little bit distracting, so I apologize about that. But the reason why I'm back on camera is also because I felt like I left you hanging a little bit with this wonder. I was mentioning at the very end of the clip, the last clip, energy deficit and anorexia, fear in general, and exacerbated fears. So where was I going with all that? Okay, well, let me try to sort that out a little bit. What I'm trying to say is that anorexia itself, the disease itself, is a control mechanism born out of fear, basically. So every fear, every natural human fear that I might have in life is exacerbated by anorexia. The fears become that much more magnified, so that I can step back from life a little bit, step away and control and restrict everything so that I can be safe. That's the irrational way in which anorexia works. It thinks it's protecting me because everything is so threatening out there. Now, energy deficit is actually kind of what causes brings the anorexia on. So what happened to me was when I was 9, for whatever reasons, I went on a diet. There was a diet plan at home, and I went on a diet, and I got into energy deficit. And then this full-blown disorder was triggered in my brain. And so my body felt like it was in a famine. And so for 40 years, I never really realized what was going on, and just never really came out of an energy deficit state. Even as I grew and got older and all that kind of stuff, never came out of the energy deficit state. Now, so energy deficit also, though, on its own exacerbates fear, because we feel weak. When I'm in an energy deficit state, even if I'm eating a bunch of donuts and everything, I'm a little bit under par. And so it's a little bit more difficult to imagine myself going out to a late night concert or to a late night movie, much less, figuring out the logistics of all of that. So the energy deficit also exacerbates the fear. So it's really, really important to start getting all that energy in. And like I've said in other videos, and if you've seen them, I've already gained a bunch of weight and I've restored a lot of energy, but I'm not out of energy deficit. So the fears really, really remain very high. And so I'm gonna have to keep working on getting the energy in and breaking out of some of these fears that I've got, and opposing them, not engaging with them, questioning them. Anything I can do to fight them, I'm gonna have to keep doing, and it's gonna take a lot of energy reserves to do that. So I gotta keep feeding all of it, keep eating. And the tricky part about that is that as the energy comes back and as I feed myself, the anorexia, which has taken hold and which is kind of running things because the neural pathways are all geared and lined up in an anorexic fashion, as the energy comes in, it's going to say, whoa, this isn't right. You're using up all your reserves or whatever. I believe in this sort of the body thinks it's in a famine when it's depleted, and so the anorexia, that's the irrational part of the anorexia that's telling me that. And so it's going to say, whoa, you don't do this. And with weight gain especially, it's going to be like, whoa, this is threatening, this is a bad thing. And so the fear is going to actually increase as I kind of work on getting out of the energy deficit. So it's a little bit of a tricky spot to be in, is that that increased fear in that one little area. But just the only thing I can think of is just to keep eating, and that's what my coach says, and everyone else that is propounds this philosophy, is to keep giving myself the energy, because that'll help me to combat the really, really supernaturally or uber naturally exacerbated fears that are caused and thrown up by anorexia. So I also need to work on all the other areas of my life, not just the fear of weight gain and stuff, but everything else. Now, I do believe that in time, with the continued eating and the continued restoring of energy and getting my body into a place where it feels safe, where it doesn't feel like it's in a famine environment anymore, when it doesn't feel like it needs to keep migrating around to find food, all these irrational things, because we don't live in a famine environment in our world for the most part, then at one point my body will be relieved and my mind will calm down. The chit chat and the chatter and everything that's oppositional to recovery will calm down, and some of these fears will abate and things will get easier. And I'm hoping and praying that along with that, the social anxieties, the fear about getting a job, the fear about making plans, not cleaning my room for a week, things like these kind of little nitpicky fears, all that kind of stuff. I'm thinking that all of that will abate as I keep feeding and keep getting out of energy deficit. So that's the way in which these things kind of mesh, and I felt like I left you a little bit wondering where these threads were going and what I was doing with them. So I hope I articulated this pretty well and explained it a little bit better, at least from where I am in my particular path to recovery. So with that said, I'll leave you in peace for now, and eventually I'll get to another music trivia or a music enjoyment and fulfillment question, but I got to think of a good one first. So I'll try to come up with something creative, and until then, peace to everyone. Thank you for watching, and take care.